Hello, good people. This is Darrell, and welcome to Personal Credit Solutions, where we provide credit education for beginners and advanced credit consumers. The purpose of our YouTube videos is to provide credit education to our clients and to help you guys understand the credit repair process better. And always remember that bad credit is temporary, and anyone can have good credit in good time. Now, today we're going to talk about this topic that I've been meaning to get to a lot sooner than this. As you can see here, what is a credit report? I'm going to read some of this, not all of it, but some of this is good information, so hang in there with me. Credit report is a summary of one's past credit history, public records, and their potential estimated credit worthiness. We've got the three credit bureaus, right? Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. These are the three main national credit reporting agencies. And each of these credit bureaus works independently from the others. So keep that in mind. They do not work together. They're mainly based on different regions of the country, based on where you live. Here in the east, on the East Coast, our local credit bureau is Equifax. All right. So it says here, since the credit reports are used to determine if you are to be given credit and what rates you'll be charged, it is in your best interest to examine your reports carefully. Know what's on your credit. Now, if you're trying to get your credit repaired, please be willing to learn about your credit. Please be willing to be educated. There's a lot of things that we don't know. This is not taught to us as young people. This is not taught to us in the school system. I have a finance degree. I have an accounting degree. Nowhere was I taught about credit in college. This is crazy, right? Finance degree. No one teaches me about credit. I learned about credit once I got out of school and began to enter into the real estate business, which is when I actually started working on the credit repair at the same time. So this is interesting. I did not get any information about credit until I actually started selling homes and needing to know what credit was about. Credit bureaus do collect and compile information. So these are data industries, people. They're industries that focus on data. So they're mainly collecting your data, right? They collect all the data about your consumer worthiness from banks and other creditors, that public record sources such as lawsuits, bankruptcies, bankruptcy filings, tax liens, legal judgments. These things are all public records. But also, of course, any collections, charge-offs, things like that. The most valuable thing you have is your good name. Think about what credit is, people. It's very simple. We know what it means. It tells other people about your credit worthiness, your reputation. Are you the type of person who takes care of the business that you contract to take care of? Are you contracted to pay these debts off? I really, really don't want to offend any of my customers, but I hear so many people make excuses for repos. The fact that a car was a lemon, or that it broke down, or had some major malfunctions, and those came out to be expensive, does not absolve you from any of the debts. You still made an agreement, you still signed a contract. So it's your obligation to resolve that account by paying it in full, even if the car is not running, even if it costs you a couple $1,000s to repair it. I like to tell people that secure debts like cars and things like that, they're just like our children. Just because our children get on our nerves or do something we don't want them to do or embarrass us, or let's say they get sick, let's say they get hurt, we fix them, we take them to the doctor, we heal them, we don't get rid of them. We are still responsible for those items. We're still responsible for our children. We still have to continue to work on resolving those issues in a positive way instead of a negative way. All right, we know that credit does not always tell the true story. But as far as consumers are concerned, they're not going to meet you in person, people. They're not going to do that. So they're going to uh, go by what they see. Give a little more sides on this. All right. So we know that credit bureaus collect information about your credit worthiness. They sell that to lenders, and that's what the credit bureaus do. They make money on you. They make money on the information they have obtained from you on your history. We see here a study was conducted in 30 states, and the adults were asked to order their credit reports and complete a survey on the report's accuracy. These are the findings. So 25% of the credit reports surveyed contained serious errors that could result in denial of credit, such as false delinquencies or accounts that did not belong to the consumer. 54% of the credit reports contained personal demographic information that was misspelled, long outdated, belonged to a stranger, or otherwise incorrect. So there are 22% in that survey of the credit reports listed that the same mortgage or loan was reported twice. The credit reports were missing major credit, loan, mortgage, or other consumer accounts that demonstrate credit worthiness. That was 8% of the customers that did not have items reporting properly. We have a way of getting items reported when they're not showing on the credit report. So we have a letter, we have a process to get those reported, but that's affecting your credit worthiness, right? Because you could be getting more points for a positive account. It also says 30% of the credit reports contain credit accounts that had been closed by the consumer but remained listed as open. Boy, do we see that one a lot. And altogether, 80% almost of the credit reports surveyed contain either serious or mistakes of some kind. Serious errors are on about 80% of the credit reports, or small errors. I know they're saying both. All right, how does one read and understand a credit report? Well, we've got a great example here. I'm going to spread this out a little more as well, see if I can fill the screen with it. That might be too big. It is. Now, this is a copy of a personal credit report. It is an example. You may have some questions about how to read the data and interpret what it's telling you. Credit reports come in several versions and formats, so there's really never going to be one that is universal. There may be. Actually, we've been listening to the government trying to create a universal credit bureau credit system, so maybe that comes about. All right. So there's a lot of different types of credit report services. That's what we call them. We have a lot of customers using Credit Karma, number one service being used, and we have Experian.com, number two, quite a few others. So we need to be able to read the important categories, right? Because there's so many different types. There's not going to be the same format there. Right here below is an example that will guide you through a typical credit report. All right, so let's just go through this, right? The content of the report is fictitious and is provided for information illustration purposes only. So we got John Smith here, right? And we're going to start off with what? What is usually at the top of the report? It's the personal information, personal identifiers, right? The name, who the credit report service, credit bureau, is, and you get some dates on when it was pulled, things like that. Now it says here, check to see if your personal information is correct. So you always want to do that. You may have one digit wrong on your date of birth or social, okay? So this is the personal information that's usually going to be at the top. Reading your credit report is important. Everyone should know how to read their credit report. Should we go through life not being able to read a credit report as important as it is to our well-being, to us having the things that we want and the things that we need, right? There's a lot of things that credit does for us. So if you gave the credit reporting agency a statement to explain a particular situation, it will be put here. So consumer can make a statement on a credit report as well as the creditor. We cannot control those creditor statements, but we can have any consumer statement added or deleted. Now we can have incorrect statements deleted if the creditor made those statements, but it would have to be something that we can validate as incorrect so that we can get it removed. They're allowed to make statements on the report, and they're allowed to keep those statements there as long as they're accurate. Now, consumer statements, I can give an example. I used to see years ago, a lot of people would say, well, I got divorced, that belonged to my spouse. Does you no good. We don't need to put those statements in there, right? The creditors don't care. If there was a card you guys had together and it was a repo, both of you are going to be penalized for the repo. Simple as that. So leave the statements up to us. We'll take care of any statements that need to be added or removed from your credit report. Now, next, you're going to have a summary. And I use this summary a lot personally because when I'm looking at say a new person who's interested in our services, I want to see how many negatives they have. I want to see how many public records they have, how many inquiries, how many derogatory accounts and delinquencies. Now, delinquencies are late pays. Derogatory accounts are just negative accounts, collections and things like that. All right, so we'll see the total accounts, if they have open accounts, we'll see that here. This person literally has no open accounts, and they're paying on something, and those total of the payments they're making are 110. All right, so we got the account history next. Now they're going to give you a menu. This scale explains the symbols used to describe your payment history. So you can see some of the big boys here: foreclosure, repo. You won't always have this exact same lettering, but you will see this similar lettering on different reports. CO is collection or charge off. PP is a payment plan. So that's if you have a credit counseling going on. And then, of course, we have the series of lates, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. I try to get you guys to think about something because I get this question a lot. Once something is 91 days late, once it goes over that 90 days, it becomes a charge off. Usually you can't reopen that account. And then if we don't know what the reporting is, or there hasn't been any reporting, you'll get the unknown. Sometimes that's a letter U. And you'll get the nice okay, green okay there. That's what we want to see on your credit accounts. Not like this one here. Let's take a look. Okay, we're going to cut this video at this point, separate it into two videos so it won't be too long. We'll start off and come back working on defining the revolving accounts and understanding the debt to credit ratio. Thank you.